Hey, welcome back, everybody. And this is the last show of 2024. And it's so funny because we actually have most of the metrics because, as you know, we go through this each and every week. And so because today is the 28th, there's only a couple of days left. A lot of what we're seeing today is going to carry over. And then, of course, we'll do our predictions for 2025. And so, of course, we're hearing a lot of folks saying, they're the little clips, we're going to do it live in 25 or whatever. Anyway, so I find that humorous. But it did say, listen, in real estate, let's try something different in 25. And you might be saying, what the heck is that all about? Well, guess what? We are going to find out, and hang on one quick second. Okay, so a lot of folks are thinking that, oh my gosh, 2024, maybe it was a bad year for real estate, in which it wasn't, okay? People, are saying, 2023, was that a good year? No, actually, it wasn't. It was just kind of like this year. In fact, you're going to find out the two almost mirror images of each other. 2022, that's when we had the interest rates that went literally vertical as the feds quit buying mortgage-backed securities and actually started selling them off, which is why interest rates went up, which is like last week. I know it was a long show and we did break it up, but last week we talked about, what the heck, feds drop rates down to 4.5%, but yet rates went up a quarter. Well, why? So last week we went and we did a real deep dive on that one. Excuse me, with Dan Golden. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it, definitely watch that. We have a ton of shorts that we did to break that whole online conference meeting podcast. We did that and really brought that back into manageable little snippets for you. But here's the difference. Remember, the feds do not control long-term mortgage rates. That is done in the stock market. That's done with your bonds and your mortgage-backed securities and things like that. All right. So what then do the feds control? Because remember, they only meet once every 6 weeks. Okay. Well, remember, mortgage rates change every day, right? Many times during the day, just depending on banks repricing. So the feds, and when they meet every 6 weeks, they determine what's called, federal lending rate, which is what the banks borrow at or trade to each other at. And then the difference above that. So as an example, pricing went between 4 and 4.5. Let's go with 4 because it's an easy number. Banks then charge a profit, and they want anywhere from, 2.5 to 3% return. Well, then when you take a look at that, that gives you a 6.5, 7% mortgage. That's kind of where we're at. So that is what they do. They control short-term rates, like your credit card payments. If you have a home equity line of credit, also known as a HELOC, they control that interest rate, okay? So if you have a commercial loan, they will control that rate. And so understand, even though the feds do not control mortgage rates, they will affect mortgage rates. And in the last 3 circumstances, they've actually done that. Now, remember, the big difference in 2023 at the same time was the fact that mortgage rates had gone near 8% and actually started that downward trend. And we started drawing down that inventory proportionally. And then as we started seeing more activity in the spring market, more resale homes, used homes that are pre-existing, lived in, and going on market versus new construction, nobody's lived in, bunk, 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 nails just finished, and they go ahead and sell those. And what ended up happening is that the builders that had massive amounts of sales because there were so few resales, when we started seeing the increase in the resale market, the new construction market really fell off. And a lot of people are like, dude, what the heck happened there? And it's super simple. It's supply and demand. Listen, when you have more resale homes coming on in better areas, because new construction normally is in getting further and further and further out, or on super tiny lots and things like that. People that are looking in better areas, want to be in certain school districts, certain geographical areas. Maybe it's closer to light rail or community bus lines, things like that. That they can go ahead and then move into those. Plus, they're cheaper. Why? Because new construction historically gets between an 8 and a 10% premium on top of existing homes, and so they look at it and say, hey, I can get more home, more space, bigger house, and where I want to be. And that's exactly what I want. And so then the builders then had to start offering a ton of incentives. Okay, that all started happening in basically 2023, October on, and that has carried through. That important story is critical to understand as we head into the metrics today. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what the heck's going on. So when we actually then, let's pull this up here. All right, there we go. As you can see, that is our existing home sale chart, right? And you can see that 2023 and 2024, well, you can see they look actually very much the same. Now, the only difference is 2024 had a few more sales in it, not uncommon, right? And so when we take a look at how that translates into some of our big titles, listen here, we got new home sales bounce back after hurricane season. Not really us, but again, this is nationwide news. Highest existing home sales since March. We did see a big bump in activity because interest rates came down. Remember, it's a 30-day lag, and then that rolls over into the upper right-hand quarter. Look, rates came down just a tiny little bit, 1/10 to be exact, and you can see that we are doing actually, a little bit better than we did in, say, 2023. But we're right on par with it. I mean, like super close. Now, the funny thing is, and when we talk about, what's going to go on in the market, right? Here's the thing. Interest rates actually are up over last year at this time, basically by 1/4%. It's not that far off from where we are historically. Some folks are saying, oh my gosh, George, the rates are so hot. They're only 1/4 off. Sure, we were 1%, so 1 1/16% lower at our best time before the Feds did a half rate, drop, boom, and that then shot up everything. But remember, the lenders are already predicting that. You saw the calendar from last week. There's a scheduled event of reports that come out, whether it's CPI or cost of consumers. You've got manufacturing costs and unemployment numbers. All of those things come out either on a Wednesday or Thursday historically, and including the Fed report. And then what ends up happening is that they are predicting, what is predicted versus actual, and the rates adjust accordingly. Again, just like the stock market, because guess what? It's traded on the stock market. All right. So when we come back to this one, just remember, on our channel, you get all kinds of really great information, and we'll be starting the fun, if you want to call it fun sales of, hey, what are the top sales in certain areas? Because hey, everybody likes to look at that, the rich and famous. We'll be doing that in January and having, again, fun with it because our channel is fun because there is no marketing and we have a good time with it. But back to the story. Here we go. When we look at the bigger picture, we see that 2024 was just slightly calmer than the version of 2023. We can now look back as far as 2022 goes, and you can see everything is basically sideways. You can see that actually 2022 did better than 2023, and 2024 did better than 2023, and technically did better, except for these are on rates, better than 2022. But you can see that when the Fed stopped buying mortgage-backed securities and started selling them, you can see in 2022 how the mortgage rates absolutely shot upwards. All right, so what does that mean? Okay, so yeah, we're up 0.25%. Well, 0.24%. But that put us at 6.61% mortgage rate day for day, meaning that in December 28th of 2023, we were at 6.61%. Okay, so today we're at 6.84. We're not that far off. Oh, it's 0.25%. Yes, I know, 0.25% means a lot in somebody's mortgage payment. I get that. But in the big scheme of things, that's actually pretty close, all things considered, because there's a lot of folks that seem to have this skewed perception that we had some amazing, crazy lower rate. Well, no, not in December. That was in September, October, really September, and that was before the feds raised the rate. And, well, it is what it is. Just understand it. So when we come back here and we see and we take a look at it, what does that translate into? Oh, yeah, real quick. Remember, January 1, new conforming rates, single unit, high balance is $1,037,000. Big deal. A couple of our clients are benefiting from this. And in fact, we had to wait for that to happen. So there's a lot of benefit to it. New conforming balance is $806,000 versus I think right now it's like 742-ish, somewhere in there. Anyway, all right. So when that translates into what the heck is going on in the market, right? So you can see that our days on market is actually up 5 days for the same month, meaning December and December over what we were at last year. It's the same average number of days to date. There's no change. Just like year to date, the actual sales price to list price, meaning what a home was listed at versus what it sold at. Hey, we're at 99%. We were at 98 before. We're at 99%. 96 for the month of December, which is the same as what it was last year. Situation normal. But on the right-hand side, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the Northwest MLS. Look at this. 194 homes came on market. I gave that a check plus. Going back to grade school, that was a check plus. And that is for any buyer out there that is in the area where those homes came available, those sellers are serious. And they should be looked at today. Look at our pending and our sold, man. We're still on target. We're almost 3x when you talk about, well, we are 3x as far as the number of homes that went pending and sold. So if you think that people are sitting on the sidelines, if you think that people are not doing real estate and trying to secure their next home, this is another classic example. Listen, our market is doing very well. The sad part is, and I didn't pull this study in, and I can do that, I guess, maybe for the next show, or maybe just a quick short. Here's the thing. So we've got good news and bad news, right? It's the double-edged sword. All right. Steve Gonzalez on our team, he would appreciate that comment. All right. So here's the thing. On the good side, we are one of the 5 sweet spots across the United States. On the bad side, and even one of the guys that made comment, on our channel, which remember, like and subscribe, right? Let us know you like it. But anyway, he's like, George, he said, you know what? I don't know if rates are going to come down like you're saying, in Q1, Q2. However, the problem is, it is so tough to buy a home right now. And I responded back saying, hey, man, I 100% agree, because buyer affordability is getting harder and harder. Not easier, harder. Even though rates are going to start to come down, our prediction, not massive amounts, but low 6s, we might bump into the high 5s, but pretty much, roll down to the low 6s. That's going to help buyers, be able to afford a home or become more affordable. The takeaway is, and as you're going to see in our metrics here, hey, our inventory isn't going to drop. Prices are going to go up. Supply and demand, it's going to be a little bit crazy. Once rates hit about 6.25, boom, we get a lot of buyers starting to come in. At 6%, when we were at 6.02%, we had a massive influx of buyers. We dropped a massive amount of homes. In fact, we had a massive amount of homes came on, and we sucked those babies dry and took down some more, because people understand the value of owning a home. Sure, renting a home has its advantages. And in fact, and many times, the cost of renting is only 60% of the cost of owning. Okay, that's in a very short timeline, like 1 or 2 years maybe. After that, the equity that you earn, the asset that you continue paying into, the principal that you pay down, that offsets it. A lot of folks look at it a 5-year window. Rarely does renting a home over a 5-year window versus the asset and everything else that you acquire, because they say, well, we'll just put that into a savings account and I can beat that. And I start laughing. I'm like, no, you can't. With depreciation, principal buy down, renting does not pencil out in the long term. Yeah, it affords you other things, but it's not the best thing, in my humble opinion. All right, I've only been doing this for 33 years. I've had plenty of arguments, and go back to any of our prior years up to 2007, and you'll see some consistency there. Anyway, fuzz. All right, moving on. Let's get back to this. All right, so when we talk about what's going on in the market and as far as what is crazy available today, right? Let's take a look at this. On the left-hand side, we have existing homes. On the right-hand side, we have new home sales. Look at that. You can see 2023 and 2024 are very close to each other as far as highs and lows and balance and volume. And so all things considered, when you take a look at it, we're very, very, very comparable. The only difference there, and some people say, George, what the heck is that spike in 2020? Why do we see that spike in 2020 for both existing homes and new construction? That's super simple. Listen, in 2020, you were supposed to be staying home. And nobody did. They were out buying homes because they had more home time to look at what was available online. Excuse me. And they went out and bought homes. Massively drew down that inventory. I mean, we dropped inventory down, like you're going to see today, we have like 8,000 homes. We were down in the 2,000 homes across 3/4 of Washington state. We had no inventory. It was bad. New construction ramped it up. Why? Because people weren't putting their homes on the market. And so they made an absolute killing in 2020 and 2021. And then as we got into 2022, naturally, as you can see on the chart there, it started to pull back. It started to wane. Why? Well, because we started seeing a lot of resales coming online. It doesn't change the fact that 2023 and 2024 are very similar to each other. And in fact, you know, if we took the peak or that crazy market time out of 2022, it would be very similar to this, okay? And in fact, where it says 2023, that's about where our chart technically should be, and that's where we would have balanced out. But it didn't, and so it isn't. Remember, super accurate, lots of good stuff. All right, let's talk a little bit about what the heck is going on in our market. So when we take a look at this, so the top of the rows, the top one is the average active list price, which we can see for the month of December is down about $4,000 over last week. Absolutely identical where it was a year ago. Well, not exactly identical. It was from last week. It's identical. Year over year, it's down about $10,000. Where the tire hits the pavement, over last week, we're down $14,000 is the average sales price. What's funny is it is identical to where it was last year for this time. Year to date, you know, as far as where we were at and how much compared to the prior year, it's absolutely spot on. In fact, let's roll this over a little bit bigger. There you go. So you can tell that year to date, you know, the average sales price is up 8.4% for residential sales only. Only residential, not condos, not vacant land, nothing else. Just residential homes. When we take a look at it for the month of December, we're actually up 7.2%, even though week over week, we're down $14,000. And that's not a bad thing. That is a very situation normal thing, but that's where we are trending, which again is still better than we were at last year, but it's not remarkable. Okay. It's pretty flat, all things considered. All right. So the next thing then we look at are, what are the actual numbers? What are the metrics? What is the velocity of our market And this is kind of what's going to be important, what we were mentioning earlier. And here's the number of sales. So on the right-hand side, that's our year to date. And our sales are up 5.9% year over year. Not a massive big number, but still, you know, a very positive direction. Number of pendants, we're up 6.2%. Actually, let me blow that up a little bit bigger. There we go. All right. When we take a look at the yellow or the bottom chart, those numbers seem a little crazy, but, you know, hey, our sales are up pretty near 25%. And pendants are up almost 21%. And, you know, when we look at it, really, it's a few hundred homes either way on that. And it's not crazy, 800 on one, about 500 on the other, just rounding numbers here. And that is still an excellent sign to show you that people are, without a doubt, in the market. They are purchasing. Sellers are selling, buyers are still buying, and we're still pulling down more inventory. And how we get to that one is our next chart. When you take a look at this, and whoops, I went too far. Let me come back. Nope, I did get it. Never mind, I lied. So when we talk about the numbers, our numbers, we're still showing that. Now, when we get back to new construction, and we talk about why are they still seeing some activity? Look, they're still doing 2-1 buy downs. They're doing significant rate buy downs, not adjusting price. Some of them, we've seen some plat adjustments. The however is, for the most part, existing plats with homes that are sold, they're really trying to maintain the plat pricing. New plats coming on are definitely seeing a little bit more of a price. I would say about 4% downward trend in pricing for brand new plats, not any homes sold. They're bringing those pricings down already so that they can be more advantageous and they're offering less incentives. All right, just saying. All right, moving on. When we talk about actual sales price versus percentage or days on market and things like that, when we blow this up, here's our current year to date. New construction is technically up 3.7%. It peaked out at 1,036,000 and then is come back down at about 915, 910. And then, of course, when we take a look at the same month, which is the bottom chart, look, it says we're up 9.3%, which is about right. We're seeing a sales price average of about 996,000, list price at about 1,021,000 average. And, when we take a look at it year over year for the month of December, we're still in the nines and, it's right about there. They're about $80,000 apart. Not unexpected. Okay. So when we take a look at the actual velocity, how many transactions are we actually looking at closing? Well, year to date, we're actually up 25 homes. Yeah, that's peanuts. I get that. Pendants are down about 167 homes year over year. And that's, again, not unexpected based on the number of resale homes that came on market. When we take a look at the number of sold versus number of pendants, sure, we're up 28 homes extra sold for the month of December. And, of course, 28 homes more than what we did last year for the month of December. And a lot of that, again, is because of the incentives that are being offered. Remember, last year, we were still coming down on rate and incentives still hadn't quite peaked yet, but they were definitely in play as they saw a lot more resale inventory coming on market. All right. So when we take a look at REOs, now, again, we had 4 new folks come into our system saying, hey, look, we're looking at bank-owned homes. I'm talking to you guys. And anybody out there that thinks that a bank-owned home is a really great idea, okay? Listen, again, we are one of the top 5 sweet spots across the United States. We are number 3 for the least affordable area in the United States, which is what I meant to finish before I got sidetracked in that earlier conversation, that banks will then, because they know they can get market value, I'm going to show you here momentarily, not only are they going to be similar market times, but they're selling 100% at market price. They're doing paint, carpet, and vinyl. Super smart. They're getting it on the market, and because our inventory has reduced significantly, they're getting their asking price. So there's no great incentive. You're looking, hey, I'm going to buy a foreclosure and I want a deal, I want a fixer. There's other better options that are easier to deal with, and you'll actually look at getting a return. There's not a lot of flip opportunities out there just because people are able to get market price for a lot of these homes, and there's not a lot of discounting. There are some. We have sellers that are willing to sell for less because they just don't want to deal with it. Okay, that's fine. Not a ton, not like it was, 2010 through 2015, where it was rampant. In fact, they had to add a couple of laws to protect some folks because of, I would say probably not the best investors out there. Anyway, let's get back to the chart here. Bank-owned homes. Let's move it over here. Here we go. So as you can see, there's not many out there at all. In fact, I can tell you there's 82. 82 homes available. Excuse me. And as you can see, our numbers are super small. We had, for the month of December, the top middle chart there, you can tell, we had 2 additional sold, but we're down, actually, I should say 2 less sold than last December. And then, of course, we had 7 more that went pending. Again, it's just super, super small numbers. The bottom chart in the middle, that's super interesting. Look at that. They're getting 100%. Last year, they were only getting 94% of the list price. Now they're getting the list price and the sales price are identical. Yay. And then, of course, last year, it's better than it was year to date, I should say, because we're at 97% average year to date, whereas we were at 95% last year. Now, again, understand, there's some really great opportunities out there. It's just not in bank-owned homes. If you're going to buy a bank-owned home, just understand you're going to get something that's going to be, refreshed, which is actually good, and it helps the investor on the backside. And that is what should be happening and get some good returns. It also helps to stabilize our market. And this shows market stability, which is great because we have very, very few homes. Now, when we come over here, remember, there are 5 questions you need to be asking when looking at mortgage rates. There is an 18-minute video. It is free. Again, there's no marketing. It is solid information. 5 questions you need to be asking, especially as we start heading into Q1, first quarter, second quarter of next year. You're going to start seeing rates coming down. You're going to see a lot of marketing from lenders, and that is going to be super important. So you need to make sure you are asking the right questions at the right time of day. It's free. Watch it. We'll put the link down below for you. And one last thing, you betcha. Remember, hey, smash that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Again, this is free. As you can tell, we do not script any of this. We just give you solid information each and every week. Share it with folks that you know. Hit a big like so that YouTube knows that, that you like us, at least today. In the meantime, I hope you guys had an absolutely amazing Christmas. New Year's is right around the corner. This is our last show of the year. I wanted to bid 2024 adios, amigo. And I will see you guys. Well, I'll see you in the next year. And have a great day. Happy New Year. Take care.